Okay, what they say the devil wants is wrong. uh, they think that they're trying to fulfill some kind of um, dynamic agenda, right? And it's all wrong. Everything they've been doing is wrong. And their perception, of who, what Satan is, it's all wrong. They don't even know his agenda, what he's about to do. What's he about to do? Okay. Well, he's about to come back to this realm, get loose back to this realm. Many don't know that he's been incarcerated for 2,000 years now, our time. It's only 2 days, God time. And when he gets cast back here into this realm, he knows he's only got a short amount of time to do what he's got to do. So he's going to come back to Earth with his group of fallen angels, the ones that agreed to go back in the time of Noah rather than get drowned. He's going to come back with them, right? And a small group of those did get born to women in this last generation to fulfill offices and positions that the average human, I guess, couldn't get tied to. So they do those things instead, have done, do now. But when Lucifer gets loose back into this realm, he's coming to Earth. He's going to pretend to be Jesus Christ for a growing season. The tribulation, that's what this is coming, and he'll be pretending like he's going to rapture everybody away, but we'll have some lame excuse why he didn't follow through with it. And I don't know, I've had some assumptions, opinions on how he'd be able to pull this off. And one of the things is there's a prophecy about the planet following through with a polar shift, where the sun would rise in the west at that point. And okay, when it does this flip, it's possible that gravity will have less pull, and it will seem as though people could rise up, for a moment, you see, because he doesn't actually do what the real Christ does, which is when he comes after all this, he does actually call people up and they come up. He rules for a period known as a tribulation that it was prophesied originally as 7 years, but then it was shortened down to a growing season for the elect's sake, and also so there'd be no discrepancy about which impregnation God, Allah, was referring to, which is a spiritual impregnation, that being accepting Satan pretending to be Christ as the real Christ. That's what antichrist means when referring to him in this format, in this form. Anti means, properly translated, it means imposter, fake, instead of wannabe or phony. Or fake, phony, instead of wannabe or imposter. Or imposter, fake, phony, instead of wannabe. Okay? Put any of those five. It was 5, I just jumbled them. It was imposter, fake, phony, instead of wannabe. Put any of those 5 descriptives in place of anti. Okay? It will be imposter Christ, fake Christ, or phony Christ, or instead of Christ, or wannabe Christ. You get it? And that's what it's talking about. So he comes and pretends to be Jesus Christ, and he has to take over the government because they're making that prophecy they're making it have to come true, where he has to take over the government, take the ill-gotten gain from them, and return it to the people. Now that's something that they're bringing on themselves. That prophecy doesn't have to come true. Now, God said that prophecies may fail. That was a warning that some prophecies, would fail. And also it was a glimmer of hope that, worst case scenario prophecies, there would be there would be outs. There would be ways to try to divert them or deter them from happening. You see, and in a lot of instances, he's provided a way, and people don't want to partake of it. They ignore it. They've been programmed to willful disregard to such extreme levels that they willfully disregard their own self-preservation. You see. Yeah. So we have a bunch of Satanists that are not really Satanists. Okay. You ask them where Satan is now, they don't know. You ask them what Satan's will is, they'll tell you a bunch of bullshit. You ask them if it's possible to make a pact with Satan, and they tell you yes. Okay, it is not possible to make a pact with Satan, especially not with your soul, because he knows things about your future beyond this spirit scan you're on right now that you don't even know. Now he does. I mean, he didn't know all this stuff back when he was trying to stop Christ from being crucified. And then he got taken out of the way. He got taken and incarcerated in God's realm before Christ was betrayed and tortured and then crucified. And when he got taken out of the way, he had his interdimensional pass, as described in Job. He had that revoked so that he couldn't come back and externally motivate mankind. Therefore, he can't take credit for motivating humans to sacrifice Christ. He can't take credit for it in any way because he had nothing to do with it. Okay? So, he was totally taken out of the way. That was all humans and shitworms controlling him. They thought that they were going to cause suffering and didn't realize, it backfired in their face. And they didn't know that things went into premonition of existence mode, and that this was all a spirit scan from the beginning. For the first 10,000 years, it was scanning the shitworms themselves, right? And Lucifer was in cahoots with God on that, not knowing that he himself was going to be scanned and be given his heart's desires. He wanted to be God in the flesh and God's Son in Christ. So now he's going to come back and be entrusted to be that for a growing season. What is 4 to 7 months, however long it takes to grow crops. You see, and that's so that the women who will be fucking the angels, as in the days of Noah, won't be able to spawn, the product of their sin. You see, so then there's no discrepancy about what impregnation is referred to in the prophecy, right? it's all It all makes so, perfect sense when you look at it from a broader perspective like that. And these satanic rituals and the Black Bible and all that stuff, that's all a bunch of nonsense. Lucifer could not externally motivate mankind, therefore he could not inspire anything to be written about him. Charlatans took advantage of his absence from the planet. I believe that people like Aleister Crowley and that whole bunch, I believe that they actually don't believe Satan exists, or they don't believe he really exists, or they think that he's a powerless little bitch. They don't realize that he's coming back able to rule the planet. They don't realize that he's only going to be pretending to be Jesus Christ for a growing season. Then he goes back to who and what he was. Alright, and you may not want to deal with that entity. You may not want to be on his bad side, right? So they're capitalizing on it. They're like, even in the mainstream, desecrating his craft, which is music, proclaiming to have pacts with him. Well, they're exactly the type of people that he would not have pacts with, because they're self-absorbed. He's coming back pretending to be Christ, so he would want people that are like missionaries, people who live simple and give the majority of their wealth away, that kind of people famous. And then God said, be skillful to his own musicians, because music is like, Lucifer is a craftsman. His musicians are skillful. So anybody that's proclaiming to be having a pact with Satan that's a musician would be somebody that's very skillful. I mean, for it to even be a possibility. I mean, if he wasn't incarcerated in another room right now, right? For it to even be a remote possibility, they would have to be, philanthropic, for one, and, selfless, and they'd have to be very skilled at music, playing a musical instrument. So, it's like the fact that a lot of these people that make these claims don't fit the parameters. They don't qualify. It's like that's all you need is dead on. They're liars. They don't believe that Lucifer can punish them, or that they will be punished eventually. They don't understand anything about the consequences for their influence, right? And that's why they, you've got these sects that are doing evil things and associating Lucifer to them, and they're doing evil things and associating God Allah to them, and they think they're getting away with something because they don't know that they are merely premonitions of their potential existence, and they don't know that their spirits are right now currently being scanned to see if they were allowed to exist, how they would act. Okay, so we see now how they would act, and it's like, damn, you can't allow them to exist because these are the things they will perpetuate with their existences, right? So it's like they have no idea what the devil wants, and they can't tell you what the devil wants. They're not doing what the devil wants them to do, or they be, different than what they are. You see, so what they say the devil wants is not true, and they don't represent him. Okay.